Me against near all your in a tray in Yansembi, NPP.
Okay.
Or quite Ashanti Region. A Juma Kufuadwa by a year roads. Or Fabiso when you better attends you. She says it dinner time. I didn't hear.
Is it because you to me more who the run as a dear? Because
NPP, the obey to my employer, my wing. O can you do at him? Can we travel, sir, and so I no correct. Odo pa check NDC. NPP nkwani ye call rally. Nipa be 10,000 gu a form etumpan. Se nipa 150 net high table so obi an kan bi. Enti e first 1 minute ya ye kukurudu na tenase. No atenase. Ba pa NDC. They will pick nipa be 5. Especially woman kora ni nim kasa woman no den no. Near the muffler gunuko. No kasa 30 minutes. It is a live on radio. So I can cruise or bow. Nipana be ubi tibiko.
Tugumza.
Share NDC. Sebe, Minuanum Kumabi to say, Phyllis Quachenum, Sammy Gemfinum, Utukononom, Shomo, and Cranoman what day. Ubi to say, Honorable Haruna Nom, even Parliament, what they have, Woman. Those days, no,
yeah.
If Parliament, your BBC be at John Janapo, Atoforsen, Mutala, late, may he so rest in peace. Samutim, no. You do say do budget in your dear. They will parade them first and they will speak. Is that how ours is? I'm not saying we are not doing well.
Does it mean
when your parliament has some culture.
Okay.
Parliament, your leadership, no, they are doing well, honestly. Minti make us omanyadi. What you say? Especially what we are faced with AF Parliament and in Nina. But they make us NPP as an organization. We need to review the management framework of how we manage our configuration of key resources and core competencies.
A leadership and
any papa could be a culture. Some of the organizational culture is dysfunctional. Say, her own baby out to the we. Who the master car went to me.
Okay.
The minuter lefty. Where the man went to me. Meritocracy is key. And so Kakuru be to do at them.
Back for Bejaboso.
A binum said that pretend this no more content. And also, we be penasim to no promote no so yem organizational game no in terms of getting competitive edge. And yes, I know. If we are see a Kobo Black Star, Ghana for ye nipa be 34 million. By ye 11, a be to bench. So what time nipa no, so one time no an experience.
I need to beat me.
Exactly. Because communication here, it's not only when you can speak well, and you know correct. How you can manage it to get a cascading effect. How you can manage it to influence various segments along our social stratification. Teacher for, send on between my first assembly. Minuanum carry for. Region bear crown a year or target. Station bear na waso. One any would debate assembly and worker. Assembly or here entertainment, here emotions. Assembly here, you have you seen me on news for being emotional? Never. Have you seen me on TV3 being that emotional? No. But the be me wo asempa and I'm a man FM. I do that for a purpose. Because there are people who tiemu kura no ano ye den room so DNA. There are people out tiemu umu. We need a strategy.
Just identifying Crawford.
And this woman didn't talk and publish it. This year, Diana President Mahama. Maybe I say Bonabaso. And when you're Boneso on your condemning, me apart from the injustice, because when you enter Nolly prosecute, now on Crawford or more court. Send us more do nye do some more buy. Me de mean I'm not interested in say media some ye jamu nyina na wo chi obi nkrofo a. So wo be a maslog boss. On cry de edi na sem wadwane. Ye di na sem abu anu wadwane. Obi on de eni na sem mpo. Eno de aban ne ya enye because ye ka social justice It's one of the key principles. Any democratic country na papa no, future no. That adherence is very key. But what they are not doing China where economy any development near there have been be a first year on your match. And then I enjoy economically NPP by last quarter.
Right. And you room says
me to us apart. But maybe I made say why we do NDC for to manage information, you know, and everybody is praising them. And how they manage, how they build relationship with the relevant stakeholders, the media and others. And a woman so one a casa on that issue. Who speaks?
Doctor, I know because communicators are probably feed you more with the right information.
And I'm say they make count as you. And people were good communicators. But you can have the best players in the world, but you can have the most inefficient team or ineffective team. If you fail to do proper arrangement, if you fail to recognize meritocracy, if you fail to recognize experience, whether I'm a good communicator or not, people know.
Yeah.
It's not only me, there are people who are even better than me. But you must be, you can say, 30 years. Any President Mahama no nyina train TV so Sata na asempa no nyina mayo be seen there we have been giving up in terms of ngumasua enye me nko amasem na meka nipa bebre in terms of nipa adwumasua anu ngumasua musua kwa echi in terms of understanding the NDC no more propaganda because NDC no they believe in communist inferior tactics.
Yeah,
it won't even manage in some way and they can let the information flow. No be I agree with them. Hey, look at how what they did when it comes to LGBT. Shani mu yefa galamsi ho. Omba umatima manage changing crofo psyche say esa fe kra de enye anything that needs national
attention.
National national state of what?
Emergency.
State emergency state of emergency or state emergency, sorry. It's how you deal with your relevant stakeholders. How you build a psychological contract between them. About what you say?
Yeah.
Yet, we be cancel papa nyina and the media no picky be fake. Adia one campo. And idea be na would dear grown pobi. No man high penal. Wow, party people will dwell on that and attack you because almost per se we are seeing who's a war. You be me they know say you know better than them. You understand it.
I don't see more experience.
And yes, oh man, kasa and ye na if you see a one on. You cannot eat your cake and have it. The way we are say ye pa second term of NPP. Kanya hone atenia idi Nanado ni yenyina. Menka say Nanado was perfect. They make out to when in the history of this country, any ye can say Ghana for entrefi yebetu omoka. It happened under Nanado. ABC a few months. O man check it. A few months no, the whole Ghana. Public service or civil servants or abejuma for. But after almost 18 months, they run a shift in this country. Say nipa 10 5 go 2 weeks, na 5 go 2 weeks. But they were being paid. Private sector nipa over 40,000 a day. Emma pay ni corporate taxes ni nyina ni enya. Nti sa afinum no yenya revenue shortfall of about 12 billion. O minor atwa jinjim. Minkasa na yaban perfectly well. Of course, Ghana, we've been having challenges with our expenditure. Me see a country me describing as negative effective tax rate economy.
Brebio,
you can negative effective tax rate economy. Yesika sem no, de bia wo de me same up. Sika ye gina fi bia no. Bosianka ho no. Ye chema fie bia mu a, de fie bia benya no. Esasin sika aban sabi or spending and our expending. Sika buy
that means you decline the enya.
Nti ye de be e ho kire. Otiase. But a situation where we are seeing nyina say and we are seeing so say no. We are not practicing absolute independent economy. Your sovereignty no, we still depend on other countries. Where them where we bibi ekra. We okra kan be di atem. Asim we. Me kan NDC timi she de twa ho edi matama ba onim say me kasa cha me hyper.
Yeah.
So omo pick extra tibia. Now heard the way am I hyper make asana no be do not even NPP for na bi mpo. Obi a na opese eye na yase yakasa onipa wo ya ade o we onimade o ana okasa yo ana we say into they all things internally no opese o sell because you bet my carve picture be of you
the same organization
no say one dey no ye gentle one no ye all these things are fake. I will say NPP you see sir, no matter who wins the elections I will say ye take Ghana for ase he oton ade o first yes wo hwe demand no say ni be sin crofo pesa ade no ye wade bi irregular nipa hia dada oton aduane nipa hia aduane da nipa hia duro da nipa hia clothes da ana clothes whatever fine any on ye be irregular say
e wo ha na nipa na
and ade bi we seasonal e wo mreba I feel we are encrofo chrono market niche and our target market encrofo na wo to amomo no sebe is legon for ana kotuba before ana sege for ana pese o kati across enti obi o ha o dwom mo tene ma banchi emo for na asa now so there
why gentle to
oh now banchi so na papa because nkrofo okudwom no banchi no beko ho enti e ka bi pragmatism. Pragmatism is not whereby even when you're supposed to spit fire, you drink water. And you know correct. Pragmatism is applying the needed, relevant, specific tool to a prevailing problem. I can sit here. You need to do the right thing. I'm just giving all this scenario because we have a country that we can build the same models and change the status quo and make sure that we change the lives of the people. You know, you got to make sure that you build a situation. I hope you understand what I'm saying.
Yes.
I can be very calm and no interest and but maybe there are places maybe too quite a lot to go and speak outside. Me too me. You can take us send you be funny be enfana. Me kwa approach ni bia me abrof your group na me kasa. Me kasa the way bia me kasa wa.
Our approach very different.
Exactly. So somebody who is pragmatic, will be a oko market to baby marketer and a dental marketer. The behavior
very different from what is
different from so by East Legon.
Okay.
Maybe even East Legon and Trasaco might be different. Enti yenya is ade na the same party yenya nim say ade we nipa we ye good. He has control. He understands this. I also understand this than this. Yenya mfa your differences no emre together. Niem build a very effective team. A team that can give us competitive edge. Yenya yantesa. Yenya ne kasa radio ni TVs way over 20 years ago. Nye nipa dodo say ne home TVs and radios. O de kan
amon ko bi o.
Yes, one no man enko. Ya marginalize wo.
How?
No way. Na check NDC time na enkura be chi se men kan kura so msusu o manyinyini. Ene hwe Sami Jamfinom hwe o mu progression. Na nya appointment ye de ma o mu na make o. There be na de nyina kwa sharp. No, I'm not talking about appointment. I'm talking about the opportunity. The recognition. You talk about the opportunity, you talk about the recognition. The acknowledgement. The acknowledgement of Obido Betmaye, a web organization. What time you need him by any party need ye. And Tessa, I will say, Sissa, yeah, let's call spade a spade.
Yeah.
A American more and a youth, no, they don't care about tradition, they be flow. They don't even care about ideology. They don't care about history. And Cranebano. Yanum na me na one bafo kutunum. Ubi enim kwabre. Me na nanom akosia menunum ne ya menunum. Omu na satam kwam kuma me achichi womu. Esi efie. Edu omu hya ahemfie tum. Kosi ebe yachi omu tinye de aduane fa tokrom. Ebi ebi kura dansoro. Edum kogum 6 months. Nti ye nyini no. O ye de ye UP4, ye NPP4, ye de senini ho. And now cry we school. obi man opportunity kakra bi obeko party no. Until we need to redefine our corporate or organizational focus as a fraternity. We need to understand the timing. Internal adena, we can compete in a very healthy manner. And yes, we be can we no kan Ukraine asesano. And the internal election, it will be sorry. It will confirm my sorry letterhead. Trust a sorry say. They are publishing the whole Ghana. Sorry yes, sorry just that they wanted to come out big time. Then they realized, say, I never said that. Say, sorry, I instructed almost a moment to about macaroni. I never said that. It is a sorry, I'm here no more back. So you instructed them. You see, and you can convince the whole world, but if you fail to convince God, you are in trouble. You're not doing home. We can compete in a very healthy manner. So we to my baby, I am one man in weakness woman wo to no fo na nye say among ourselves no ye pretend as if we love each other but ye twa bigu ye fight binom de obetuma ye ma wonye nti ye be call elections no and this ade omo nye kura de bia na ye project you
no doctor then this are consider we yaba if you because what the person that you
I think say in my opinion when say ye wo de friend no even in jurisprudence, when we talk about social justice, your different cardinal points or whatever, or principles or whatever it is, your encrophobia to say, if it will be a herald man or something, I forgot, I can't pronounce it well. Woman or advocate, the advocates of social justice. One of the key things, and NPP, a principle, I think it's no longer there. Or back home said, to each according to his works. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying. And you to each according to his needs. To each, your idea be ever and say, any party, why you know? And I say a vessel, a pijao, and I a boa basso, and a more opportunity.
And you
walk a bisua to each according to ability.
Okay, you bit me.
Exactly. And you also see a nipper be a here, nipper phone you say. But once you fail to realize or recognize what each can do best to the benefit of the organization, you're in trouble. But a lot of our people in politics, whether NDC and NPP, are stand to be corrected, in my opinion. Almost individual interest is way over the national and the social interest and the organizational interest or the party's interest. And almost on the doors. Perfect will be our individual interest. But once you join an organization, your interest must be suppressed when it comes to the reason you joined the organization. So our politics now is our interest. Also it's an enterprise to make money alone, to have power, to be somebody. And you need a worry. But once over join the NPP, no, anything concerning Ghana, if NPP sonny dear. Or say NPP no minor interest over radio personal interest. But because encrophobia brain, they fake and they pretend and they lie. A woman individual interest no. Ama eno na ye twitwa ye ho no. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying. Eti de omintimi nya kra na no akodi di intro ne a hype no media mu no akoka kansem no wa yesei akoye. Wow, be abedi no kwari so wade we NPP and DC challenge my problem. When say the media na ko twa de okoka NPP problem no nko aho na ne na obi so hwehwemu even up to date and for still and we say social media handles and platforms no we say code cards no ne TikTok ne Facebook ne man ne writers we bre no ana be bre fake e bi krom ni say fake but now say against one no they will escalate it or spread it. And the NPP mu dey your men na mpawo by politics na even sometimes krom ye kofom kram ye be train say communication busa nyeso omo nye good but e bia omo style and way of communicating does not really suit or does not align with the present political communication in the way you know. I don't know if you understand something. They might be solely corporate communicators. Not that they are not good. But then NDC near woman, they are always lying. And then Facebook near me, didn't throw no be idea actually. Meaning they make out myself. How do we reposition ourselves? How do we package ourselves? See, be ahead of them. Who can do that best? How do we plan? Nipa ba kuntimi. How do we assemble the right group or set of people? Together. But is that how we go about it? No. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying. Because you have people who have been communicating for about 30 years. They are not needed. People who are needed are those who fake. People who are not. It will be a creator that commitment, ni motivational factors ni intrinsic. The opportunity be no nya no be nya be appointment na position be. And over period NPP no nya. But deep in the person, deep in himself or herself, when you say our intrinsic motivational factors and extrinsic, obi are purely extrinsic. They be for bontain and motivate you. But ni mono we need that instinctive or inherent or inbuilt idea for organization. No packaging no kunta. E bi kura asem kura okoka no ontiase. Ano no anka so e fake election ayekwi internal elections. Wotin nsema na binom kafa aspirants ni bi ho enne. Omumomu behave say. Omu ye bibia ma aspire na esrim pokwa. E bi ensem o ma kan yo even last year. Ensem nkomo omu di ye. Ensem mo ka aspirants ni bi ho. Why those aspirants cannot let us win power? Oh man, no. And so they are rather attacking other people and insulting them. You see, if you have people who can easily pretend, maybe I'm a weakness, I mean to pretend it. I mean, I'm no cry,
right. Doctor, where you no ma? Yet me identify after say party na lose power now say Grana party no wa Bermuda and what
now can be anti you. Who will listen to you? They will even change your story. They will lie about you. They will fake. I don't know if you understand me. A country will be look, me, America say me boom for you. But one who will be with you, because oh, the car is being emotional, the car is hurt. I say, I am better. Somebody like me, how can I be better over this? Maybe I have strong passion for my society and my party. Why should I be better? I don't know. I don't think I made it because of politics. Ebi obi o nim what ye chira na o kan de ope. O kan so yes to da ujo anu. As far back as 1997. Na mitimi ye adwuma 16 hours a day. Adwuma phone ko a.
Wow.
Cleaning, car wash.
In Ghana.
Kitchen. There be London. Cleaning, car wash, kitchen. Those days. Na matomeka. You make out to say if I have to depend on politics and say my year, I have failed in life. But I thought I was kind of crazy. They change this. They think say I saw me inciting for against you. Oh yes, politics there's sanity. And you mean they be a make opposite. Because politics and yes sanity. Meaning what's the essence of politics? Or political parties formulation or establishment. All that when you are politics by.
And the narrative say politics na why you know.
And you me as a person, me can in general. They make out to me say politics. Then when you do me age, me over 50 years. Now we try say politics never more ye. Why try say no be kwa and we failing in life. It's not getting cheap money. And it's just why you. It's not about lying to the world. For
that means your politics na you send your tea.
Me, oh not at all. Come on. Me Jimmy we are saying that say in terms of image, in terms of name and their politics, but my wealth, no. No, your policy but I've made a lot of input into politics. Before Mampenyiko for Mameka Koshe. That is before 2000. How many years ago? How many years ago?
25 years. 26 years.
Yes. How many years ago? 26 years. I say me boa honorable Dambochenim, John Krugunum yenim, Asensunim, be womanim. Enti yemubi no enya kasa tenten ye pe ye party ni no man ni.
Right. So narrative you better change narrative we e wo NPP mu as a political party.
So ope party ni ya yenye pe memenye srabofo but di no kware. Oh ewiase ebi how people were brought up. Ye ni yeso no Assemblies of God Sunday School ntete ye ni enya ye no. Ye be ka kire wo se men suro de obeku woni padua no ntimi nkum okra. Ye make out mase. And ye see dimpa and yes, no cray, no ho dancing contumpo. no kreche ewa brabum enti yeso na yede ni me bi hihye ya dwum menka sa me de metie me yeso abofo sa me nya boni o minti menkasa I will say ni pass sana twen say di enti na wo NPP di enti na wo NDC de onko abenya na so ye ni pabone pa o umbe so ye adwuma na de oyeye why wadwin o me ba politics na me bibia mepe why not but enye no nti na say me wo politics I say me wo politics say me dwen say eh e say me be MP me hwe me constituency me ni problems so bebre kwasa nya MP na so ye but I told them say me say me the education me develop me na run human development index eni pampuntu into come constituency my machine say ko 800 within 5 years yes mama scholarship about 1,000 we wait more check it tables and chairs here man 2,400 go to the schools and find out secondary schools bear 5 my mom computers me bo modia F4C enya obi anono so wa be ma na so ye omye training e pa ne chew ye training nipa about 1,000 ensuo ye de ma communities ma ye 14 out
mechanized boreholes
yes obetu akoti nyina ho sisi a enti me kan se me ye ena ma ye me kan se me football club ama wo mo ene okuma CFC nice team with their bars omo baby omo da hostel and akrafo ni bi kura de omo ma e ba ho so and no and you say me wasika o basa na nyame bo me polling station executives me coordinators buso my year welfare half welfare funder me amisika o ma na e committee o mo da no wo yare ne sekoto adura na akọ ye lab na anisika utimi 500 Ghana me amisika da no o mo ye so it's how you are committed to ba me sika ben me was card me ngase me nibi but ye can sika for Ghana kase asenka me nka ho I don't know if you understand what I'm saying but it's how I'm committed to serving society and in here and yes sir me pese me nkwani hu se me ye billionaire nya billionaire wa ye adwuma nya wusika wo billionaire wa wunim se sa billionaire wa wo ye nya wa adwuma na wa ye enya no enye se utwetwe sika ma bloggers ni media guys now pretend say o de o ye say enya ni here o look at the barefooter case on the street in Accra now Wako easily gone I went to ANC I wept.
Why?
No one crying. Say baby, omu 2 SABs. Why? Enti sam cry we me drew wa. Obi am ye statement am adwuma ma hono. Na ma start again into we the next 5 years, next 10 years. Where would they be? Are they going to be armed robbers? Do we have data on them? Me na me concentrate on only Adenta Reggie stretch you. Ene kakra wo o bala boni circular enti even parliament more researching ya start ya hold you on kakra be beto aso ya question say ya pick data on the street na minim kra say eyi ka ho enti we a politician na what do we have for them? Do you think about security of this country? Do you know where they will be? Do you know omo growth rate? How me wo ehene nkra no befa ombetra he omkromo da he omfri he numbers no per year a grow by saying I don't know, this is how you run a country. This is how if you're a leader you should think. And then look at the drug abuse. All the young ones, most of them are in drugs. Any time what are we doing? Do you have data on them? Even Galamsey do you have data on
illegal miners?
You see, I leadership any nim dear. And yes, who deceive public. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying. Even if once I'm able to deceive the public and lie, and who say me you good, many nyankupo who say you good. Any person who say faswa bauso, I'm a woman. And yet when you fake your life and you think people know, and yet when ube say unia, ube pretend, and yet look, who even 1 trillion we are here. Me not sure say who took her, which matter play me and some 190. Jamaica atmasi, and yet when so if they were playing a kamepe. But ask yourself, playing a winner and as a politician, how many poor people have you helped? Some of us, we identify problems. Oko parliament, Miami statement, my year, I can on the floor. A beer call for committee by the speaker. The last one crowd they almost say obi sorry say committees in the city omonye nneema no hinti we crack in me answer.
Right. So now we are deputy finance minister no na still no ano sa adwene we wo team still na de now we the boa man for na utimi.
Oh na say ye adwuma pa. Obi aka second refrata anya adwuma we liar. Ye kwana kin refrata ye adwuma pa, let's face it. Challenges of money ko mu no. Obi na finance minister at that time ka be yente. Let's not lie to ourselves. And you can refer to no and you first and second is a first approval. Both staff level and executive board level.
Yeah.
And yeah, my boss so by my boss so Amianta a very hard working minister. And you young Crawford to say so can you say hard working directors were very hard working. But it was a short time. I was there for just a few months. So I hope you understand what I'm saying. It's not having the ideas. So you move a lot of experiences, and yet they do. The fact that sometimes if you are social media, they can't idea who they are grow. Ghana is the only country we are politicians. We are trench me so arrogant. Who they are grow so I see, and then a politician who they are grow. I find it very interesting. Sometimes in Tio must say
because me say critics, I'm for because say. Stika odi agrodo do stika or born some more no.
How many about 364 days I have this so 1/4 days, you know. How many times have I made this agron? Would they check it? I don't, you cannot even get, if you put together you can't even get 5 days the whole year, my answer. So what are they talking about? So one day be I me a student me go school you know me shi jama na ya shi jama na boy si hu me a honorable mora na me no kwa. You identify with them. Just a Ghana or tiny name. Look, I make a me a fifth best one in the world. I've never said that. But I have a motto. That who says Yaki I can solve one of the major problems in our country: economic fundamental anomalies. Country be no economy no, well structured and can be sustainable. Governments may choose me words one and government as most of the times in this country are buying to borrow on the domestic market at a higher rate than private sector. It's not done anywhere. Anywhere, go and check. Say T-bill rate can give you returns more than risky assets. Say why invest or comparable assets from the banks. It's not done. Your models and our formulas are calculating returns. Say be a investor or banker.
Yeah.
What you say? So me the misika me investor or what? Na me investi will be to say if I say you may our boss or what? If I say Gabia. Na me investi will be a eco banker. What risk a woman say one who won't make an so saying Gabi.
Of course.
Gabi they also saying bank no. A bank ni they no so saying a buying. 18-year risk free rate. Into say the higher the risk, the higher expected returns. And all over the world, no. So you invest in any bank in your country on the market. So all the 10 cities in the coma, interest now be no. Treasury bills rate no no. At the home amount, dada. It is a treasury be a 10%. Now me nisika me ko invest to a banker. Ensi huna beba ho 10% in the home me dada kra. And sana na me say me taking risk no. Hu say me sika be hye no. Every premium ye de bibi to so ma. Enti da bia no say odu sika ko bank invest ya. I say returns now be nya no. We invest in comparable assets our government securities mo. I say bank de no ye kese sen aban de. But Ghana ha no most of the times
aban de no ye kese time.
Go and check. And no need TTO because of that no. Ama banks ni sika dodo akomde ba private sector de babo ebosia no. Dodo na de kwa aban ho. Your problem pa kese ba akoni me kire wone. And aban so no creative value chains. Aban process Gary, aban process you, aban process hwe. Enti aban MBA nyuma through that channel apart from public sector nyuma kakra no. And a banks and so na me nimsika koma aban a almost risk free. Obesa ama me more, me nimsika be brewo.
Dabi.
Enti sika kakra na aban yese ode be brewo no. Interest ni ye kakraka. Eti na da bia me friend double digit interest rate economy. Means I make at yasia. And no soon to private sector na so mu create jobs no. Omu nya enough funds. Omu nya sika kese. Tu sika kakra mbe nya no. Cost ni too much. into ntimi bie o ma dwumam one emfa nipa bebre adwumam two ntimi produce to develop that equilibrium between supply and demand. Into aggregate demand no ye meet your private sector ntimi produce to meet until we are forced to import to add up. And once we are forced to import to add up, our city will always have a problem. Until the cost of doing business is going to be high, unemployment will be very high. We can't produce enough, so we'll be forced to import. Exchange rate will be a problem, and even banks' valuation in our GDP and real. It is our time now because banks they are supposed to give you returns more than treasury, and they are giving you something less. In terms of value, no, it costs so more because it means they get more inflows than. And also no, you integrated that in the computation of our GDP.
Okay.
Oh, they say, and no, na formula sibia you de calculate side number one. Na 1964, by will be a friend sharp, a friend capital asset pricing model. No, and another person by near friend Ross, who problem who no any better formula, or no develop another formula better. And any person you know who problems are one also. Hanan and Liang, and we develop here. And a damn and so problem or then I also came to see problem away no. Then I developed a new model, optimal pricing model for risky assets in a competitive market. I use GDP, inflationary rate, money supply, policy rate, and I use market volatility and all those things. My model was examined by Canadian, Pakistani, and Ghanaian professors. This is what I said. I never said anywhere say me a fifth best in the world. Obi abeti me can do happy. The obi ni mu de enye dedeu. Enye kasa. Me compare me who to obi. But the point that I'm making is that we have a country you were far back because a lot of people are not committed to changing Ghana. You didn't throw the enquiry benya sika enquiry be di to show us here with sika. But say you drink pass madam intimina because youth know they are getting into drug abuse. How many people when they are left alone with their God?
Okay.
I don't know if you understand. We need to change our mindset.
Haircut decision, you know. Now can be and
but I was not against it. Whoever said haircut was a bad decision, either said on Tiasie and now say or intellectually dishonest.
Haircut ne buy,
yes.
Pensioners,
there be any solution at that time. I mean, say papa. They make out papa, but all over the world.
Option B and hobby.
Look, Bulgaria did, Jamaica did, UK look, a simple economic model, financial economic. Let me explain to you in a very simplest form. My baby was here, or say me waka. BBS CFB hold out. You can't hold out a situation where the issuer has gotten to a position he cannot perform his obligation. My budget can be BBS. Me yet there are so two things. Either I say I should baby, and now me no better say. Ni aya nhehye ya ebi ase committee ade no 10 years time. I see ade 20 years time. Se metua 1 cedi a month interest na ho na. Wadwene wa ha de.
Me madwene ho.
O de ase interest na ho no say 1 cedi a metua 50 pesos. Send e be a won lose usika kra. E bad thing for who hold and wo be ye. Ya. Nti ye pa obi a chew. Ene de because he has some papa and boy. But as of that time, that was the only evitable solution. So how did we get there? Ebi a KSA and only a different subject to discuss. But baby, you could do any dear. Meaning that Jamaica atmosphere.
But say her NPP as a political party.
Of course, or maybe a by Hano. At Jamaica, they had two, JDX and NDX. Jamaica Dex Exchange and National Dex Exchange. Minim the American atmosphere. My training we wenu nyina ho UI group no de call landing training here.
And you know we are finance minister at that time wa.
And yet that time me see
but now we are finance minister at that time wa. The kind of rata here na no an ka obeya na.
Sir, that exchange. Oh, that exchange dey there. Obi enu no any other solution. Minim there. Ebisua na menye privy to all internal stakeholders at that time. Internal as a stakeholder, menye privy to all the pieces of relevant information and data at that time. Mpachoti the makers. And ebia na me wodia, then I could have probably processed the data or embark on simulation. Maybe and try different alternatives or options and see. Because look, decision making processes all over the world. You have different alternatives. Odiase, ebi abeso kokumase, ofa soro abeko, ofa form abeko, uyesi abeko, ma nsuo to ofa soro ha bitumewu, ofa form obi a obi bewu ntem. What is the criteria no ho? But that time there, where we got to, because me access to information na me wo and data na me wo at that time there, that was the best solution.
Okay.
And obekaya, eno na akwa aba afa there ya bobo ya baso seseke ya nteke sa decision na and kasem to ye. About churches, enti woman almost suffer any day. Still ya ebi kura wi na nya de papa ndi obi ate ase. But I said sabi akura nya conversion. So in conversion, you say esraka.
So ya dia kanu.
Solution at that time we maame no opeje ni tihwe form. No why oso ne na woso no. And so na ko hospital. Enti ya to da sa resuscitating method no. So wa apply ebi akura no bewu. But applying that at that time, enye papa. Ese to the do bia wo no ma enye no pa. Ba wa no ma nipa bewu. Ba enia wo benom na so yi na akiri. Enti enye de papa. But in terms of policy option there, it wasn't bad. Just I want to say.
No right decision.
No, but it was a necessary evil at that time.
Right, me say. Treatment here my former boss. Kind of reata it was saying Ghana treatment.
Oh.
Na brochire die.
Ene die ne nsam ni nim. Se wadi boni woni boni. Me ade me nim dia me pese meka bi. Na ba bia me madwene ha me kakra ne se. Ese aban we baaye no. Wo ye NDC ni a wodi boni a emre ni ho ma wo. Wo ye NPP ni a ana any other person ene emra nso wadi boni oni boni o. And the Mran be so much am ya could do asam. And I mean, because in any democratic dispensation, it is what equity over law. Is a jam law student, minim kakraka. Over equity are maxims of equity. Maxims, no. The I am a deba coupe woman say, or say equality is equity.
Okay.
What you say? And I dear about me there were justice. The whole ethos of it, me say. The people that are governed must be served equally when it comes to justice.
Okay.
What do you say? The justice has to serve. But we have to serve. Exactly. And not a hard drink. But one more can say, Kinofrata and Yashe, one can hear the same Kinofrata in the first 3 years. Now, all Buama ye grew 7%. And I'm a one. And you are no one as a minister, no Timmy Buami and manage a liquidity wall to embark on one of the most enviable pro-poor policy redistribution policies on the continent of Africa and probably the world. Free SHS. And I know no. Enti me and Kasawa yes me kase bibi too bad. Before said the management of bonds. And I before said can me dey bia message semu kakra. Maybe rate and a call with our bonds on our market and those things and the laws or whatever it is a beer. But on the whole, no, never. So koya boni bi de mean to menka. Men call it in a juma. And you met try make us why papa now I boni in that sense. But sir crucify him na near can be bribino. It's the same thing as saying about a month ago. I'm going say we because about me and say economy na. And you know correct. We are saying say and the near mammy suko we are singing. The cocker and the fofra in favor Dr. Balmian in the team dear. And woman can't campo, Omuden trot torso.
Right.
Omi incite other groups against you. Now we incite you will be against me. No kume. And now say me and now yes I won't kwaba a beam for some person ya or bapu. Obi okra Dr. Balmio Canadian Agyapong Brio when you do Obi Odirechino, Obi say position a deba manning to you on only research document be only a debi or say oba bema me de beboa. The old one is a ban national baby obenyesika no adidi no no anya na gas biako Dubai no miaka so na Ghana wosika and no menka say me pesiko but that is not my mentality.
Okay.
That is not what I stand for. What I stand for is that me dem want buffer my society. What I stand for is that I'm in politics. Me not perfect. I can make mistakes, but I want to be part of any system, any organization that will truly change our society.
Right.
And then hear me. Don't until the upper will be making me ni mate Yesu Christ did natam. Ana. Na me mistake am to me why e adum bi kwa. Ti mu amowa no na mu wo sika na mu pese mu man crofo di atam wo social media kan sama emfata no. Mu nkoso na monka. It doesn't matter. But idea ya me ya say propaganda no mpanyimfo ni bi are bought into it. Ebinum campaign omo ya omo na mi. Omo de me compare ami anta. Me fa me hon compare ami anta.
Ya be campaign, ya be di hon.
Woni me fa me hon compare even am ko ba ami anta di. Me nka hwe fa no ho. The Omo to no more cookie stories. Boss, ma omo nye mistake because me mean radio we asi o. And I can really talk. Nyame ni mpanyimfo na ne me yakasa. Me fa me hon toto ami anta. So si ami anta ya ade asen me o intelligence me a enye hwe. Me sabi obi chen obi obi ase ana ni jama se manya nkopon Ghana for ho nyi obi ani obi ability obi capacity sabi ami we minia nyi we na me ne be kon ho me nka asa e na me nwene sa ami ni bibi am ye sure se minim and the same way I think I was do something honestly anim nyire ye nuafo
right
but why should we lie frame up stories ni edi obi atem na obi an campaign we can go there and look obi oye tribal politics Ghana nyame ni mo nyame.
Okay,
when you ask the relevant question then they attack you. When you ask and you are there in parliament your group of people who will support one person and they are tribal me I don't even believe in tribalism. So what senior they are kwechira when you my diploma in pharmacy into my physiology therapeutics need those things pharmacology ni my ibida. And I understand physiological setup. When it comes to ecology and evolution, in our genes and chromosomes, there's nothing like tribe. And to me, baby, nyamede magina could do me, yes, I am an imponi.
So we're free.
Okay. But when you're analyzing political strategy, there are dynamics. Untimi overlook it. Ebiso, so men can't. What kind of country is this? Is it what we want?
Right, I feel what Johnny and now. Honorable Dr. Stephen Amoah sticker and Yanino Dean Common MP for Inshia, so former Deputy Finance Minister, former Deputy Minister for Trade.
Incoming President was
now,
when incoming President. I say TV through said I'm saying clear TV3 red down.
Stick quickly, ma. Me and share honorable to forcen 1 year. Yeah, dear Mamuno and Ma NDC abang. One finance minister. Now you're deputy finance minister. I'm for say Ato is forcing. Maybe say Ato is falling. And now $1 to CDR. 10 city 71 pesos. Full war above from you normal inflation single digit. At force an assessment 1 year of NDC.
Men that's be media my assessment of the economy. I still think at forcing, in my opinion, on ye good, on ye bad. This year going to be to my judgment.
First year won't me
Debbie. Because the economic impact na ye nyan last year na ye di ura this year no. Nyan this year ban yo. Na economy no is not an event o. It's not an event. Economic development your process. It's not an event. And ni nyina come see NPP yanke asem ni. The American to say NPP yanke asem ye. 2 people pretend they understand issues and they cannot. And yet the facts are that and Crawford who say oh but time can let us out in your mass you. Menkasa Crawford son tiasie. But you need to understand the psyche of Ghanaians and communicate along those lines. Then you can get the attention. And yes, I overcame we are seeing now, ube ya my Facebook, ya comment tiasie no, but unkoshe. Maminka bivincho. What is the percentage of this present government contribution, discretionary spending policy and the policy at DBA, you which was expressing as 0.1% of our GDP. Yeah. Nibus America. I buy no first year buying whether NPP and DC. I didn't eat me in a power. Let me explain to you. When it comes to the exchange rate, CD depreciation, appreciation, there are independent factors. You can independent factors are CD now performance, dependent factors. It be a variable to be and our factors be a mass CD no where they and I call for an age now and a friend independent variables. You're near my list. Only say basically no a demand and supply.
Yeah.
A DBA no say doesn't be bra, nebo no likely all things being equal, likely to go down. First thing you see say NPP are buying be free so no. Now in terms of supply of dollar no, net is saying by December near over $500 million. By January near about $1 billion. Do you know why? Because I stand to be corrected, but the first time I can remember a domesticated cocoa syndication in this country. Normally, cocoa syndication, you're na bruchi. Say you beto cocoa nesa anema na you kwaje bosiano wa bruchi any dia beye. It is kind of a wutu an ho diet. But first time I can year 2024. Yes, bosiani ade ni nyina wo Ghana. It is canin say be kwa bruchi no. Ghana. It is December millions, hundreds of millions of dollars. January near billion or even over. It is not your number one factor. Number two, na ya to aba. Ama aba na ye largely peaceful. And we are seeing in our confidence na yede.
Aba.
Asamba kana so. Investors wo mani abehwa abie. Number three, ya wo specific primary macro indicators omo a performance and so boama we see the ecosora na ecofom GDP reserve primary balance those things otiase na osha dem we ase ye din pa Ghana so ye din esikasem nyina say no ka sa afi bi mu na ye GDP esikasem nyina nyini 0.5. Samre ne we are seeing negative 3.3. We are seeing konechi. Samre mu wana na inflation pempenso anema bo okosoro e ko 54.1.
Yeah.
Exchange rate ko over 50%. Obakaya.
Yeah.
But ya buy no like after no we started working on restoration, recovery and restoration. And na ne do be a honorable Kenufrata no so ye do corner ye ba okay those terms no ahuchire ba kese na ma the then president his excellency Nana Danko Akufo-Addo he made a very profound statement or time ene yanka no kure o mamu nti no sa statement ye statement and ka was say nei big time professors in economics and finance and sa anima no omo build on that statement a whole book or omo publication on that normal expansionity. A situation where you have lives being lost or the likelihood that nipa bebrebe. What do you do to your economic policies? And you already, I think PFM Act 2016 Act, I think 921 as I say, I think section 18 I stand to be corrected. Or stating even a number of situations upon consultation or policies, rules no near democrat, bit my chance and say, Bakuya war, Bakuya natural disaster, and about Kuya, I think epidemic or Yaria Kesiaba, and Rano Kreka Wasam. So Nanadu made such a memorable statement ka maybe I can find agro was say when it comes to lives nipa wu a yentimi nsa mfa ne ma na economy cry dey say a
you be travel so yeah
and it go so bad so we started building the economy Yeah, restore economy now to the sense that me near doctor to force you beside us. Or yeah, two statement. Presenting two budget statement on the floor. Confirming me the last one I on one state economic indicators. No. GDP a Samia Biano. Yen be free so no. In fact, any provisional figures crown is 6.3. What the budget in a buy no, now 5.6. 5.6, almost twice 2016. 2016, it was 3.4. Now inflation, pembenso and yama buokosro no. Now a free 54.1, above for ma bedu 22.9 thereabout. Now exchange rate above for. And now reserve. Yenya bear 4 months as a 6 months oh baby. I stand to be corrected anyway. It's ne be bia sati aye kama I say nipa area owo when you terminal disease na infection crown ya cure infection every ho afedi nani aye yellow no I started back kama na nsema aye yellow no I started back kama afedi odidi. So that is what continued. NDC 24-hour economy dey no mai nyeso my boni we na me kan krofo fi say me praise NDC no omonya boni nya papa. They are still in a way in configuration stage. That's me. That's how I understand it. What you say? Maybe what I can say is say, at forcing spending, but even then, let's not forget say there were IMF conditionalities, and also add tabo kakra to your expenditures. You spend them. You need every one. You need first, second, staff, and executive board approval. You need third. Staff approval na ka executive one you 2 NPP so abekaya enti energy debt ni niam ni bebre apart from say beto ye no na ye situation no awesen because aban bia no atama mienu na wunya sika akesie mienu either say o jeje revenue ana akobobosia edu baabi no we had market impairment. Productivity are impaired. Na yenkwa dwa so hwe nkoso. Nti aban nya tax, nti asa aban bobosia. Enam se na market nkoso nti na GDP ni so nyini. Ena enye ka wodi na hio e oda to GDP. Yeah. Eti tema market nkoso wi ase activity shape mko mapapa bia yenye adwuma bia ne yesika sem na nyini biem. Ba ne ye bobosia because ye nya tax. Eti na mabosia na ekosoro. Ba ne ye GDP ye ketekete. Nti na ma da to GDP ne kokese. By the time I hear free horo, me atimi ya bedu about 60-something%. Eti economy na no mo kan, ye free so no. Na asa peja no ho awie o. But I am a sure ade bi Ghana ha yen hwe. Ye free be systematic risk index in financial economics or
investment. Ye kase apache say.
The tie ne say, ye wo susu de bi a na yetimi gina ho ma oman bia se ne o market economy ti. Your baby a friend aggressive sector market economy. And your defensive sector market economy. You can aggressive sector market economy. Omo index no, systematic risk index na 1. I say economic figures na economy no kone nim omo nchichemu dua. Sa enyuma no krone economy no enipa ne feeling intent meko. Because na banks ni companies akese ni nyina wo any aggressive sector no. Yeni de no more characteristically no more of defensive sector no systematic risk index no far below 1 ko e de ni SMEs about 90%. Eti economy no kura yenya figures no ko nanuma there's a lag period bi a che ansan ye feel impact no and into whether NDC na also NPP na wasu say ye ka say oh economic figures na ya ade a Ghana for ta ka asim bi oh inflation akosuru we ye say above form bibia ya de no mtaka. Very common with Ghanaians. You should know whether NDC MP ka say hey GDP akosuru we ye say Ghana for say you feel in your pocket. Ye nyansu saso we dey kan GDP they are not here say ya na nya say nya no kuro but its impact on us, it is a long time because your market, basically SMEs. The risk index, far less than 1. Into the economy, a new ready impact on us. And most of the things Ghanaians are enjoying now, omu praise NDC bebrebe no. And what we left 2024.
And home for so now omu.
Exactly last quarter. Eti afen ye behwe se ye nuanom atofo se. Obeka so a Trump buy no, he had a fair tariff war with the global partners in free Asia. Oh yeah, the dollar no, na demand on the international market a form. Na no so why dey form. Me, I am still not convinced by what is happening for 3 reasons. Tie when I'm fancy on this issue. One, when we enter me say still you see no any dollar and some no ye nya anu adu. When we enter
Debbie.
Number 1, do you know the amount of dollars in Ghana?
Debbie.
Obi in Bank of Ghana mponi. When we the currency because of black market. Eti Debbie you were about 3 different rates in this country. Bank of Ghana's rate, forest official rate, or check it, and a black market. And your borders so strong until this scale will pay. Now, we name the amount of dollars being circulated. How can you control it sustainably? 2, on my woman, you cry almost everything. Preference for goods of the same liquidity and risk factors, you know. Ghana for tato abuchiri and the demand for foreign goods, you know, appetite for them is very high. So it still poses problems to us. And until all these problems are properly resolved, you know, solutions are short term. When it comes to currency, short term solutions cannot be relied on. We need a long term.
Okay.
Enti ato force in the name regional kase minuano onya dia me your trofo and am beka so mba oh my yeah and also the nkrofo kan entesa.
Okay.
This year kono eni ebe hu se omo discretionary spending policies no omo start implementation credibly, tangibly. Now they are spending, they are paying contractors very well. Now how do they manage the Russian budget?
Okay.
That is my position now.
Right, Mera, I feel like I'm a patrol high as 107.3, Assassin 98.5, Ukumasi, Assassin 99.7, what Tamale, Assassin 100.3, I will keep Coast Mining City Radio, 89.5 for Takwa Fima Radio, 103.3, Strong, 101.5 for Chimoda Community,
yes, me Nimushe.
Now, yeah, I can't 19 days. To January 3-1.
We are better. Okay, so one can say we number count. One prepare.
But I drink the can.
Yanko Pandum. Me you be idea, but Yanko Pandum.
Right. I can 19 days na GBCS year. Was on Bekasa on the 1st January 2026.
I was on Bekasa. Wakasa.
Okay.
The elephant has already spoken.
But answer, yeah, common now for your campaigns in the sea column. Dr. Laj Mahmoud Bomiama for so on the head of the economic management team. And the critics say economy no can be na Emma NPP lose ye.
Economy no can pa.
When to me managing the
year. Only they no manage economy. And you know. Oh, when we be question I answer now have we di matem. Oko answer hanso na have we di watem. But boss, I will always stand for the truth.
No, you manager of the economy.
It is about whom you say economy ne dia. Neze ye to abai wie na ba ko wi ni. Ni asan baba ka beka che Ghana for say enye NPP ne say no na world crisis. Boss, we feel say we've moved beyond that. To me they know. Emfa ha Dr. Baumia 18 ombedi di matem. Emfa say Dr. Baumia come say okay, can't send dia or the me crama bum. And yes, she made the man yankopon. And yes, she said, Neddy or Becky can't chance me intelligent. And yes, what I say. And yes, she Yami Ducasi as a man said on no kind. Me more me ante dingo baby. It's in a power and tea. Dr. Baumia bedi di matama. Many problem. They make out to myself. But me, me share no so. I'm a cardian no cre emfa because me respecting me panasem. Sabi onye ni perform but what you make say the entire me free in the camp enye say sabi okoka bibitia me ana anya no na me hwe mfa me ho the entire me free on say me feel say chance NPP betim dey win power with Kennedy Agyapong is of higher probability. And you're born a council.
Oh, can I sign up? Say,
oh, Nasa, why winning? Massa, your free performance in strategic management. Your free performance. There were 3 key variables in terms of functions. Baby, OT. And your mammy and sa any here. A bemu what my you were money ye. The didn't kind of ability. So winning, dear. It's me, the metro, the OT, any cause me nim. And I winning, dear. No. So when your opportunity, or better try. Near the unim dear near the hammer. Na ya Kenya or ya motivate you saying ye. Enti NPP issue wom say no. The singular function of our chance, a opportunity. Of being government and perform, sorry, a opportunity to get power. Say ni to me and get me a national health insurance. Ya make out myself.
Me too, pa.
Can you any power create my free school? It is a day in a power. Hey, so we are on a book in Agyapong. We are Dr. Edichumo. We are Dr. Baumio. We are Dr. Brenchampono. We are Cabinet Agyapong engineer, Cabinet Agyapong Inquisition. They make out myself. Now, 2 million you are there now.
So, why do you think Secretary of Agyapong?
Now, I want them idea now. This is one sum yame. Obi a wosum nyame a wo so kan Bible ni Quran because me books me enu pe na me de me gidi say e Nyankopon books Bible and Quran. Obi a kan Bible ni Quran bi e so ye no kwarefo because e nyame book en chese me holy and am perfect. Bible na me kan no me nti me di intro. Baby a me name me have on radio and TV for 30 years. Many president Mahama no nyina tragedy TV da. Hana tete no ama be no those days na hot FM num na wo ho na Oman FM num nyina ma that time period of about 2.5 years 3 years na me call Santa 4 stations a day me fi sprinters me so ahomache 3 ni dware me be da na abo be 12 no mani so biri.
Wow,
there was a time to GTV and me collapse because na me na for almost 1 year me na ye my chewa grunum. I know what I'm talking about. People see me outside. Sikasama fa Canadian ma traffic. Pii really call for your country mo. When I'm airport your country mo. Enti me here no I'm saying power first. And it's everywhere. Let's look. Nanado obano. Ni din tese tene ye no. Look, what is some boni kaka nanado. Me wo bi I verify say nanado do. But because na Ghana for no pen at that time no. If I Nanado's first election, he won the whole Ghana. Only 49.7. I stand to be corrected. Only winning the whole Ghana. I can point 3 + 1 vote. Second election now Mokano. Nanado won. Ya win ya. Enke kujina a court. Nyami papa. His Excellency Dr. Mahmoud Bamian the kujina. And Nadia Nasa sent ya fedi as in Nanado lose about 3 elections. Nanado won. But NDC took the election by force. Obi a winning NDC be and when they are in power enye joko and e bi no mo ya mesre NDC enye the same model no omdi age Ablekumanov omdi age Atiwa ombeso mde pandai enye the same NDC sa no mti when they are in government they will suppress areas that will vote and they will project yes and they will use violence and then no matimi chief justice ho and na omo realign court no with their own people. Ti afei de omu din se munu kura no fa election force wo de kokko to be no akodi be enkrofon ti game na se NDC be so mu gu MPP
right so Kennedy
run one party state
so Kennedy ohine Japan then obetimi aye pe de wo kan
Kennedy one nyame kan na beton so Kennedy's issue has a lot of divinity. A lot of divinity. And be honest with you. A lot of divinity. Just a win any. Me menka se nyame yi a kire mi obi a wasum nyame a che awo ani no. Me ka no kure na a kire. She enye easy o. Nyankopon afre papa no because eniema etwa fa Kennedy ho no. Enye simple saa wo. Enye onwanwa. Kennedy nko ehwan ene nyame apagya ne sei. Ese kane bi ato no so. Look, who can Bible ye pa woman nyame afro ma lead o nkrofo nyina. This is how it happens. ya kan ho nsem bebre yesu dia ne anka amfa no na yesu he na busia ya wo no kra de wo pe ba bi kro anya ba bi ana edu nyina sa ata na hotel ni biase
ensem o muka e no kra na say ensem o muka
na dia he na no kra ne dia he so obi di obi atem no di ni bi nti ndu anya presidential material asem na wo kan de o mo asem no mo kan ko mo twetwa bebre anya no kra but let's even assume so obi di na tem no di ni bi anu nti na Ghana ni ote ho a ubetimi ayi video practical evidence of soldier from Penyifo Ghana ha e booking di abaso e page no e salute no say 37 ha with the millions of dollars and a project away for Akomayare cardiothoracic center oko konfanoche kenipe bewu Asante memu ne bro ha foko sirem ni ade oncology machine ebi ni ba bia o machine a treaty yare akese cancer ni mewu ne no Kennedy and the millions of cedis e kom de ye ho adwuma na ho mpa ko Tamale teaching hospital COVID by ya wo tu mani be bia nye no wan na di nsika ko ji nipa nkwa ho papa Ghana fo ko ka brochire no ni busa question ba ko pe na sika fo ni Ghana endu be so ka chem se Ghana fo no mo nam ho no wo ba ka chem se obi di Kenya tem odi ni bi enti anu nti no de Kennedy aya ma Ghana fo nyina ene the companies bebebe a wasi afa nipa bebre wa adwuma mu no ehia Ghana ni so wo pa adwuma ye daache ompe nipa owo abadaye owo nsono manipa in terms of spirit of benevolence e wonu mu no odo nipa bua nipa ompe no na sama na na mo ka no Ghana o munya nkwara o na nipa bebre afre Kennedy de nti o mo frɛ no onam Jom Kennedy onam a street so Kennedy onam airport Kennedy kwa dum ni PZ ni ade kohwe even na university lecturers and professors chairman institution edi mu Ghana ha o mo mfre Kennedy ni bisaw is it Legon is it UCC is it KTA is it ATA efa he papa nyamia manensa so wono so wo me ese Kennedy ayo mu nyina Kennedy won so wadidi charismatic hwan achemda on second edidi Methodist council atemda once we didi Catholic bishop wadi o matemda please mama maye says we have a country we cannot speak the truth and fight that which is dysfunctional to the performance of our republic. What kind of country is this? On my idea ya no kura say no kura so menka on my nyankopon sa womuno we don't behave this way menka se Kennedy we so abofo ne ani aka hwa no so so abofo me dey me free say Quebec so Kennedy obi a waya amanyosem e komfie aduanan mini awutie me
mitupa
wa wie sika courts of competent jurisdiction the Kennedy atum na adwuma ye no wie o man sika nyina na Peter asuafo edumienu na di Yesu echi no wan na de sika twa obi aso no me busawo ni afra ne sei Peter na wan na Nyankopon esi na so na wono so that time na James num ne Martin num ne hwan ne nam ho Bartholomew num ne hwanom na me bisa Moses wankum nipa Moses no odini okum nipa e de ne hyefam kata no so onu kwa na no Israel ni David cried o me ekum obi kum se na ye one ne beta hwe me ka no kra na achro God takes the foolish things of the world to shame the wise.
107
Nyankopon fra Gideon no o se Awurade Israel nyina mabusua na yemu ye Israel nyina o se busua na yemu ye na yaketoa me na yemu mi a me yaketoa nyame se wa na me yusiu hwe ye ko one constituency in one of the regions no Ashanti region one of the constituencies me say ma me enu ase me emu bi o mbe kasa no mu safi na so wura ho se kenye Kennedy a ko bi ma so ke kumo mu. What are you talking about? What are you talking about, me bisao? Ghana for kura be brain na omje say your mindset is kura na say ye ho adwuma. Wo obi ono so ye kekaka nani so hye kakra.
Do we need a radical leader?
Yes.
As for my
what proving record. Now the good thing is that Kennedy no no nko na nam o. Kennedy wo meye one man show. O team papa bi. Team hwe mimi gina ha medem jimhudi o so anyu huni a ya say de ahwerepa nkasa
ankure huni de
what bi da ya say obi so nyi turo do matoa what man na turo bi CV ma no
one or two CV.
Thank you. Oko pa adwuma bi na chiro CV ma.
Dabi.
The only thing say men card there wontimi nye. But the obetuma ya wa ya wonim die say otimika. Me all the foreign trainings a menye nyina. Me di nyina betu dwa nansen. Me school ama come course so ma adwuma ma ye. How many people know say me be adwuma from 207 etu any pa ka be si de. Ye nam no nya say ma obra. But any kasa anyhow chiro bia because e bia won na mun show ni me apart from bontia me pa grow pe nipa no enam for simple me mpe na nka me ni over 50 years with PhD nka me yellow by April nya me pa na wie me LLB me time no kra nso me yenye nipa fon ne enam wiase o enye kasa bebre nipa beka enye bi no hype e bia bi mi nyenya opportunities bi nti they talk anyhow yene no we've gone through the mill. Otiasie. Kotra landing. Wash cars. Ye juma wa kitchen. Ye nyuma sa ni nemua besina kutu. Maybe omuni ye mu bi there 2 years secondary school. Maybe mate eko university. Eja me omu be wi ansa na meko. Ba ko me primary school ko culture center. Umkope shields no enkrom ye nkran ketenkete a spelling bi quiz on bi di obi. Me ye common entrance stage 5. Otiasie. Ba me nkrofo nyina be ko school jam. Obi anim there two obi. Nye obi asem no obeka. But people should go about and destroy Kennedy as if so nye nipa. Obi was general street so aton years blade matches. Timi awura brabo ma kofa Germany akọ America okoye otime bia nyuma talkers many pa ye ho. Aba Ghana ha from 92 be nyina odi nsika bu NPP na NPP aba. Na Kennedy ko ampo no anya aban contract da. 2016 cars makuma ku 240 edisi na bisika wom me de na me Ashanti Region organizer wodi bi ba ho ma me yusi me NDC me di 209 Kennedy fa madwumam honorable Titus Grover Kennedy fa nadwumam ofan krofo pie adwumam kone factories ni steel factory no ono ne omo ye ono efe nipa 1000 at a go go and check now no make an mu nua ba ko gimachi na electricity enya no electricity se me na ho nya me speciality ndi na menim e kire na me frebu se electricity wo capacity to certain level e ko kese bi age se griko and a griko na so ma ni station it will cost him about 11 million to 12 million dollars. Kennedy has I think one of the biggest fish ponds in Ashanti Region. Go and check. Apart from factories now, produce plastics, produce whey, produce sack, ye wellness and market here. The coast of Camboma is one of the biggest in West Africa or Africa. You make see be or real estate or near.
So to the ordinary Ghanaian, we be say, and to the delegate, we be say, San woman in Tia, say Yamana Konyamani.
No, actually, I said there's a major problem in Ghana. I will wait to fix unemployment. Okay, be say the facts will be a match as a president. O makaso omu papa. Nani who can be a good president? Say Ghana ha human high. Ghana ha a major problem with corruption. Our inability to develop, design and develop the required value chain to handle the journey between our raw materials and then the finished goods, the final product. No be no what produces are the NPP bebre that all factories no or experience or international connections. Some of the human or foreign partners or no me. It will be a president or the business na say what the manufacturers say what the job creation say when him how or be position or be the policies ama investors or Ghana hano etimia collaborate with foreigners e be nyuma ye sustainable be fa ukọ China na ade a edwuma ba kutumi fa nipa 4000 2000 o mu run 3 shifts a day or tesane manase na so onu ntimi nya de a ene hwan biem me busa ene hwan who is a good leader. What's the essence of leadership or presidential position? Is it one I put on tie? By saying this, I can't say others in you. But what I'm saying is that there's nothing like presidential material. Or presidential material. Either they are suffering from unconscious incompetence and also intellectual dishonesty. What is presidential material? I ain't find a word. Show me any philosophy book. I say, you feel presidential material, an economic book. We rather talk about, or we talk of presidential functions and responsibilities. A service. The essence of leadership, and for that matter, presidential position, is offering the state the needed service in terms of leadership style to provide the needs of the people, to ensure sustainable redistribution policies, to ensure that the secondary macro indicators, i.e. agriculture, education, infrastructure, security, health, you put measures in place that will offer the people the needed utility, and that will be very sustainable, and make sure say any pahombe to and yes say obi no pretend say we and the every organ hano. I thought that, look, one of the cardinal principles on which Singapore was built, a meritocracy. Na menka sem chro na mo England sa yi an menkai woni player na friend and right no
yeah
em say Satan no obo either Crystal Palace me refi either so obo wan san oba Arsenal na woni o hard wo park so wo ye true training opentokwa wo ye niam basabasa em na wo mo say na ya ka e ma fa say GFA no ma suspend no. But now omu kobo national team aka omu ne Italy na one country World Cup qualifying series bi. Afi na ye national debate say akwezu no extra aka otimi shego. Enti yenyi band no because ye ne ya policy. Ana ye ma ne ntena ho. Omu ginu ha no omu yi. Omba ye no. Omu ne one of the teams about draw and omu share that one and omu qualify for World Cup. If you are listening to me well, when the time was so important to lift the band on a right, so England could qualify for World Cup. They did, and they qualified. Sure, it do baby oh, and yet sa propaganda kasa basa basa. Ghana kwa look me. I have a high pitch and high tone. I'm very animated when I speak. Me what Peters International School near family action man. Opa so be it me akobusa. Adentia me na me recite Rollins in Niama se be speech and prize gi anase ye parent PTA niama it means me so nyina no asoma abeka so adenti na we max adenti na yesa enchese me nipa bone enchese I'm not capable. I don't know if you understand. Yeah, me ko to maslok me ka e bi fi se mani anso nyesa na me paka maslok nya ba bia sebe ebetima mani pa nya no 7.3 service to the nation. Oba kohwe enne wo de munkobuso om say whether in this NPP o mo bomidin abesine because of the way I worked and changed the place. Ya make atumase ba bia ni wa look na na yeso obi say Agyapong yiri yimedi ayen tro Agyapong na adwuma otimi ba anopa 15 minutes to 8 no de pen ase no atena ho oba say fired obe you adisisia me mia na me gya adwuma no upa abusa me kokra no ofra broche be kra na ene yasema gya na adwuma na ye nkra na ha no. Is it because one na ye adwuma paint ya open asema oh na se no ni me ya adwuma da but okase me di na chi last time an come mo Dr. Baumia eno kra no oni me nya issue buso obi a me nkasa me ye pe ba me very principled do ena me nhwe de nipa be ka fa me hu e ka me nko a me ni nyankopon wa how do I feel about my decision? I don't think I'm in politics because of what I will get. Me age say the many no politics munti and I'm a politician. I have failed my parents, I failed my God, I failed myself. If you're in politics today, now we're level ya. Ade ba ko pe na adwo radima unyansa ene opepa wo de bebo oman ene society enye de wo benya. Ewiase ehudie bebre ne de kwai. Menka se sika nyu, I want money. I do like almost 5-6 jobs. What you say? Me peska pa, but in yesika say wabo mem. Of course, if you are politician, unya opportunities kakra. And the America UK baby oh. But men what you say wabrabo.
Sa pepe enetie. Obe kan ebe twabo se ne omo pebi ebi. Eno ne ye papa Steven Amoah eka no. Na Ghana ankasa no ye hwa eye nima nkitinkiti bi ama atosin ye nananom om betra so no omo ntumi anhihye ne mebi nti ene nam so na ama Ghana ya ka eche bedu sese sese ye papa Steven Amoah eka bi se ma e papa Kennedy Agyapong kwan a even though NPP ye ne ma bebre wa Ashanti Region esanse antoto ne meyi nti ama nkofo hu Kennedy Japan de ni so ade hunu sɛ ne yɛso no sɛ ne yɛtie ne nti no wasan so approve akyerɛ nkɔfoɔ sɛ obetumi abi wɔ ebiebie ndwuma akyerɛ ne tumi a obetumi de abibi so ɔpɛpa so obetumi abibi memo makɔ ababa ST7 TV so na mo bien ko ne nko tie papa kan no ne nto aso yɛ efa nka ho medamase saa na tie o wohwɛ de papa kan yɛ nyina wokɔ amana man nyinaa so a nyima bebre wɔ hɔ mo yɛ a ɛkɔyie mamutifoɔ no mo yɛ den ɔmo hu sɛ ne amanbuo ne kɔ mo nya ho fa so enso Ghana de yɛ pɛsɛ minkumnya ne yenimutra ne nimanime bi adoption of foreign culture nti de bia ne yɛ kuro no adan ne nkurasesɛm na de ne kurase ɛso nya de yɛbɛka ne sɛ yɛdamase sɛ ma yɛ den maka yɛn ho abedu pɛmpɛn so yi na ST7 TV so yɛ den yɛka mo ho abre bia de yɛka ne sɛ yɛsrɛ mo subscribe, like, na share ma wo fɛfoɔ so mo nso so mbetumi nyi binom ayɛ o ma hwɛ na daachi nya video fufuo bi a yɛsan ne brewa wetumi nso ayɛ wahwɛ behu ne yɛkɔ so yɛdamase bebre na de yɛbɛka ne sɛ aba na yɛba 31st of this month January 2026 no yɛsrɛ to aba ɛma yɛ papa Kennedy Agyapong wo abusuani bi betu bi aka yɛn so to ma Kennedy Agyapong da